Hey everybody, welcome back to the channel. Thanks for tuning in. My name's Aaron, and today's topic is going to be about open chords and specifically which fingers we want to use for those open chords. So it's been a topic that's come up a lot lately, and I don't know that there's any right or wrong, but let's get into it. So without further ado, check this out. So I'm sure plenty of you guys know the E minor chord in the open position here. And if you look, we're on fret 2 of the A string and fret 2 of the D string, right? So, we could use these first two fingers to make the chord. We could use these second two fingers, so finger 2 and 3 to make the chord. I never done this, but I could probably, use 3 and 4, use my pinky. Not something I've done. You stick one finger in the middle of the two. Okay, so the question is, which ones do you use? A lot of people are like, am I practicing this right? Am I getting bad habits? And I think the answer is maybe it just depends on which chord you're coming from, which one you're going to, what you're used to. I don't know that there's any right or wrong. So, you can see with this E minor here, if I use finger 1 and 2, let's say if I move to a C chord, well, then I got this second finger as a shared finger that doesn't move. So that could be one strategy for you. If I used 2 and 3 here, I could move to a G chord like this, which brings up another little topic. How do we play our G chord? If you notice here, I'm using fingers 2, 3, and my pinky 4. A lot of people don't do that. A lot of people do this. They use finger 1, 2, and 3 like this. Okay, versus this. Let's talk about maybe the advantages, disadvantages to this. If you're suspending this chord, adding a C over here, you simply just can't do that if you use finger 1, 2, and 3. You can't, obviously your pinky can't go over here. And if you move that, then you don't have the B note here anymore. So, a lot of this is going to be hopefully intuitive. You're gonna go, okay, if I want this sound, I'm gonna have to use this shape. But back to that E minor thing where we used finger 2 and 3. Okay, that connects into this G without moving the second finger. Okay, so if that's your goal, to not move fingers, that just to kind of work that out. Okay, so this is just fingerings for the same chord. Another topic that comes up is the actual inversion of the chord, because some people play a G like this, where they have 4 fingers down, and they say, hey, what's the difference between this G and say this G with 3 fingers? Well, the same 3 notes are in the chord, it's just that we're stacking the chord in a different order. I do have a video about building triads that if you dig through the channel and find that one, it is helpful, but let's do a real quick rundown. So remember, if we take do, re, mi, fa, sol, la, ti, do, something like this, do, re, mi, fa, sol, la, ti, do, we put a number value on it. 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7, back to 1. Well, if we extract out of that just the first, the third, and the fifth notes from that scale, those notes are put together, build a major chord. So in this case, with a G chord, we have a G, a B, and a D. So really, these 3 lowest strings, G, B, and D, that would check the box for a G chord. When we play a shape that we're really used to like this, we're going G, B, D, G, B, G. So if you'll notice, we're not going outside those 3 notes. We're just doubling some of them up and tripling some of them up, right? But we haven't introduced any new notes. We're only using the first, the third, and the fifth. Now back to when we talk about this voicing where people put their pinky here. Okay, all we're doing is changing the B note that's on the second string to a D note. Okay, those two notes are both in the chord, so that's acceptable. We could, you know, we can mix and match any G, B's, and D's we want, and that gives us a G chord. So that's a little different than the fingering. These are different voicings, this one and this one. So yeah, we had the E minor, which you can finger several different ways. You know, you have a G chord where you can use different fingerings on it. Another one you see people talking about a bit is the F chord, because the F, you're starting to get into a bar here, and you'll see some people take like an E shape. Pretend my first finger is a capo. Okay, this is kind of the basic theory on the bar chord. You know, we have an E shape, we move it up a half step and put a capo down or a finger here. Now we've got a bar chord. All the notes are closed. Okay, some people prefer to have their thumb over here on the bass note and kind of play this F shape like this on the first four strings. They might even do this. They might play the F like this with a C in the bass, or I guess you could call this like a you know, an F chord with what is that, second inversion, and then we can add the bass down here. So why do this versus this? Here's the full bar, then we have this. This allows you, I think, to add some colorful playing with your pinky. You couldn't do that if this bar was occupied here. The second you take your pinky off, now that note's going down into the bar. I mean, you can do it, but it changes the chord a little bit. Okay, so that's one you see a bit like what an F chord with a bar turned into an F chord with a thumb. Okay, D chord. You know, people play it like this. I've seen people reverse these two fingers. In fact, I don't know if Tom Petty did it like that. I don't do that much. But it's the same three notes. We're just changing the fingering. That's one where I don't do this a lot. I do probably this more. You know, I think you have to think about if you're going to play some melody notes with your chord. Like if you have an A minor here, this pinky's free. Play some melody notes. If I was to play the A minor like this, I'm kind of hosed. I don't have anything left any digits left to play up here in the fingers. So. What would be another one? D minor. I would probably never play it with these three fingers. That feels weird. But back to the D major though, you could use a bar here. This if you wanted to play melody up here. Whoops. So instead of having two fingers here, I've got a bar going. Right, it's kind of a movable triad shape. Well, let's talk about the A chord. Here's another one that's, this one seems to get a bunch of fingerings on it. Since my hands are pretty big, I try to use my pinky, and so my second, third, and fourth finger, because they all jam into the same second fret there, right next to each other. If I used finger 1, 2, and 3, I'm kind of like, can't quite fit them in the frets. Kind of do it, but, so that could be one reason to play A with your pinky in there if your fingers are bigger. I've seen people do this kind of a stack like this where they go 2, 1, 3. I think I did it that way for a while. It kind of puts the tips of your fingers closer together. Okay, so another thing you can do is bar this. If you're playing an A7 type thing with a G up here, that works nice with the bar. I don't think I play these three and then a G. I probably wouldn't do that. I'm going more like this. Okay, yeah, so the A is one definitely where you'll see maybe people doing some different fingerings. Remember, it's easy to confuse voicings and fingerings. If I play an E7, that's an E7. Well, here's an E7 too, right? It's a different voicing, adding a different note in a different spot. Anyhow, I hope that's helpful to you. These are just some basic little thoughts and ideas on your basic open chords and fingering. Finding a fingering that's going to work for you. I think ultimately it's personal preference, and again, if you're working through a set of chords, where you're coming from, where you're going to. So, hope that helps, and thanks for tuning in. Bye-bye.